Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. I am the host, KG Chris Gardner, owner and co-founder of the Houston Roundball Review. How are you doing out there on Facebook, X, Twitch, YouTube, Roku via the BS3 network? Got a lot to discuss today. Special guest Alvin Brooks will be joining me shortly. Before Coach Brooks joins, I want to remind folks, maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. April 27th, Rockets introduced Ime Udoka as head coach, their new head coach. At the end of that press conference, Rockets owner Tillman J. Fertitta said this about one Kevin Porter Jr. In my 6 years of having this basketball team, there's no player that I've enjoyed more talking to off the court, even during the games, than Kevin Porter right here. I just want y'all to know that because I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Now let me say, KPJ was the only Rockets player to attend Coach Udoka's press conference. It's kind of rare. That kind of surprised me, and it's in of itself. But KPJ sat in that first row, and unprompted, Tillman said those words about Kevin Porter Jr. Once again, in my 6 years of having this basketball team, there's no player that I've enjoyed more talking to off the court, even during the games, than Kevin Porter right here. I just want y'all to know that because I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Tillman hasn't said anything publicly on the record about KPJ, the KPJ situation. KPJ, of course, in the assault allegations against his girlfriend, Kaiser Gondrzek. But for Rocket fans wondering, or just basketball fans, sports fans in general, wondering, why did Rafael Stone do this? Why did he give KPJ that contract? Why did they keep Kevin Porter Jr. around so long? Tillman Fertitta is why, I think. Corey Miller, how are you doing? Miss Wanda, how are you doing? But yes, give me your thoughts on it. After all, Tillman writes the checks. Tillman pays Rafael Stone's salary. So it's not too difficult to put it all together. Why did they keep giving Kevin Porter Jr. chances? Why do they keep bringing second and third and fourth chances? You're hearing the thing is, stories come out about skirmishes, verbal kind of pushes, shoves as well, a little bit physical here with the Rockets. All this stuff coming out more so after the fact. One more time. If you're just chiming in via YouTube, X, Roku on the BS3 network. One more time. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta at the press conference for Coach Udoka. In my 6 years of having this basketball team, there's no player that I've enjoyed more talking to off the court, even during the games, than Kevin Porter right here. I just want y'all to know that because I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Tillman wasn't asked about KPJ. None of my colleagues asked about KPJ. He said those words himself. Bringing in the head man at Lamar basketball transition. I think he's ready. He's ready now. Going to bring him in.
I need to enlarge my screen.
Are you good?
Okay, close it.
Good.
All right.
Yes, sir. You are good. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing good. We're going to talk basketball.
Man, I appreciate you having me on the show.
I'm always glad you.
We were both surprised. It was a sad occasion last time we talked, but
yes, sir.
Yep.
And this time we're going to have more time to devote to hoops.
Good.
And
Good.
what I'm going to bring up in a slide in the last appearance here on the Roundball Review Takeover, the non-conference schedule, but I'm going to bring it up so we can kind of discuss it on screen. All right?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because I'm learning new toys and tricks as I get older here.
Getting creative. I like it.
So I gotta adjust with the times and keep pushing forward.
Okay.
But you touched on it. There you go. I think everything you mentioned here, I think I got right on screen. I pulled it from the website.
Right.
But exhibition game against St. Thomas. You have a relationship with the head coach over there?
I do. It's Houston's home, so we've actually played a few times, and he's got a gentleman on his staff, Jeff. Jeff was one of our GAs and video assistants at University of Houston when I was there. So got a little history there. I've did a clinic there once. My son Al is coaching at Baylor. Did a clinic there once, and he had a camp there. So it's a good game. He runs a really good program, and they do a really good job, man. And they kind of help get us ready, And then, of course, we'll open up with Jarvis Christian after that, and that'll be our official season opener. That's when everybody in college basketball opens up on November the 6th. And then we go from there. We play at SMU, which should be a good game. Rob Lanier does a good job, and this is their last year in America. Now they're going to the ACC. They're going from the AAC to the ACC. So, and then UTSA is moving up to the American Conference, and we play them both home and away at our place first, and at their place later on in a non-conference schedule, and that's going to be a good series for us. And then Pacific is a return game. They played here last year, and so we go out to the West Coast. We'll fly to the Bay Area and then play them on a Saturday, and then come back. And we'll come back to Houston, fly into Houston, come back to Beaumont, and then we'll spend a few days here, and then we play in the tournament, the multi-team event at Longwood that they're hosting in Virginia. And we open up with Bethune-Cookman out of the SWAC. And it's now part of that SWAC conference. And then we got Longwood, the host team, and then, Delaware State was from the MEAC. And play those 3 games in 3 days. So that's during the Thanksgiving break. So we'll spend our Thanksgiving actually there. Okay. So we'll travel there the day before Thanksgiving, which is the busiest travel day of the year, I've been told. But it's a long trip, so it gives us a chance to get there. We'll get there late that night, and we'll spend Thanksgiving together as a team there. Find somewhere to enjoy Thanksgiving together, and then get ready to play those 3 games. So, and then of course when we get back, we'll have a little break, and then we go to UTSA. So that's going to be a tough little stretch for us. We got at Pacific on the West Coast, come back here, and then we go travel east to play in Virginia, and then back here, and then we up the road to San Antonio to play at UTSA, and then we at Sam Houston State, and then we come home for tough games against Sun Belt Conference teams, Louisiana Monroe and Southern Miss, and then we at LSU right before the Christmas break, and then after Christmas, then we finish up our non-conference schedule, obviously, as you can see, with Paul Quinn at home. So it's a really good non-conference schedule. It's challenging. I think it'll help prepare us for conference play, and this is the best. This is year 3 for me, and year 1 was obviously difficult. We came right out of COVID. When I came from University of Houston, college basketball coaches at the time I got here, we hadn't been able to go on the road for, I think it was like 16 consecutive months.
Right.
Because of the pandemic and COVID, we couldn't recruit, so I couldn't physically go out. So, we inherited some guys, some of the better players left, and we just kind of had what we had and worked our way through it. And last year got an entirely new group and played last year for the first time in my career with a group that, not one guy had 1 minute of Division I experience. It's not how we recruited the group. We recruited the group to supplement it with some experienced guys that were returning. Unfortunately, some of those guys were injured, and several of them were injured, had season-ending injuries, and were not able to play. So we ended up with a young, inexperienced group. So now, fast forward, we got a number of returners, eight or nine returners, and then all 8 of those guys have actually started games for us. So now we've gone from a team that we put out there like last year, 4 guys at 19 years of age that was inexperienced and young, and so this year we kind of had some returners. Plus, we hit the portal ourselves, transfer portal ourselves, and so now we're not small anymore. We're not super young anymore. We've got some experience in we're a little long in the tooth now is the group we'll put out there, and I'm looking forward to playing this season. It's going to be a fun year.
So this year's roster is more like the team you want it to be.
This is the team that, I was from day one when I got here. I thought we were too small. And thought we were too small to really compete at a level where we could win. And I thought we needed to get bigger across the board on the front line. At the 3 and 2 positions, I was accustomed to having, like, for example, even from my high school days at Wheatley to my days playing at Lamar to my days coaching at Lamar and Houston and everywhere I've been, I've always been a part of guys. We always had a couple of guys that were 6'5", multi-position skilled players that are really hard matchups and that can guard multiple guys. And that first year that we were here, it was the first time in my career as a player or coach that I was in a program where we didn't have one guy like that. The guy we had that was probably 6'5" is he was a 4-man.
Okay.
But then not the guards were smaller. I was a small guard myself, so I'm okay with being a small guard. But couldn't have a team full of guys like myself. I needed some bigger guys to be around me to kind of help, take care of the paint and, defend, rebound, and those kind of things. So I like the group we have. We've had a really, really good offseason. We obviously, if you kind of follow us at all, you know that we were kind of really hit hard with the injury bug the first couple of years. First year, we actually had to forfeit a couple of games, because we didn't like guys. Last year we played with 7 guys a few games, and so we kind of battled our way through it. And this year, I think a lot of that had to do with the transition that we were going through, being young, and then a few guys had, unfortunately, some foot surgery, knee surgery, different things like that. One actually missed a year with concussion. So, but now we're good. And so the other thing is, we got so many good things going on here at Lamar University with terms of facilities. Our director of athletics, Jeff O'Malley, our president, Dr. Hamid Taylor, man, they've done a fantastic job and trying to help rebuild the facilities here. So as we speak, they're putting in a new scoreboard, new video board, new sound system, new lighting system, and the court's going to be so nice. And I can remember my days at Houston, Chris, and you probably remember you coming to games at old Hofheinz, and it was when I was growing up in Houston, Hofheinz was the place.
Yes, sir.
And I watched my first college game at Hofheinz. I watched my first NBA game at Hofheinz. I played my last high school playoff game at Hofheinz. In a coaching at Hofheinz, but over the years it became older and outdated, and so then it became from a place that was bright, it was a little darker, and then the floor wasn't as good, and so I never realized the impact that could have, in not just aesthetically where it looks good, but in terms of leg injuries.
Yes.
I think it has an impact on your legs, and so why not think it's a fact, and so we had a number of guys. I remember the last couple of years of Hofheinz, we had some guys with some injuries, foot injuries, leg injuries, those kind of things, because it's older floor. And then, which one thing you don't think about as a player or coach, and somebody mentions to me, it's like our place here in the Montaigne Center at the time was a little darker, kind of like Hofheinz said sometime back in the
Right.
day. And so you get adjusted and accustomed to that, you know?
Yeah, all of us did. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you go on the road and you play somewhere else, now you have to adjust to that
True.
life and that
Yeah.
setting and so that's a little different than someone coming to us and adjusting for that one game. And in terms of we adjusting for like 15 games, 15 different times. So it's not an excuse. It's just kind of what it is. And so, you make the best of it. But the great thing is now that, man, this court we have is really nice. And, I think our guys are really excited about it. I think, they've had a great off season. We've trained really hard. We start official practice a week from today.
Okay.
Next Thursday, September 28th, is our first day of official practice. So off season's been good. And one of the good problems that I think I have is that I can identify maybe just a few guys that I think I know for sure are bona fide starters. And then, I got a few others that are so close. I mean, I don't know, because flip a coin and depending
Good
on
problem to have.
you good problem to have. Yeah, it is a good problem to have. So kind of looking forward to it, man. Kind of looking forward to it. So it's going to be good.
I want to ask you regarding the remodeling renovations. Did you bring that up to your bosses? Did they recognize themselves? Or how did that discussion come about?
Well, it's from day one I got here. We talked about that, and so the administration that was here then, is now different.
Okay.
So the president, Dr. Evans, was already on his way out, so I knew that when I came.
Okay.
And so the director of athletics that was here initially left. And so the guys that are here have been here with me now for over years. They've been great. But when I first came here, I noticed the Montaigne Center still looked great. I mean, we've taken great care of it. They've done a great job. The maintenance and facilities people are taking care of it. And I would have the good fortune, one of those rare guys. I was here in 1984 when it opened.
Right.
And so I helped open it as an assistant coach. And so it was really nice then. It's a really still good looking place. Mr. Montaigne, who is named after the building named after Bob Montaigne, traveled with us when I was a player. We were selling out McDonald Gym on a regular basis. We ended up moving downtown to the Civic Center. And so that's why they built the Montaigne Center, because we were one of the better programs in the state of Texas. So it was really good for a long time. And then I returned 35 years later after I left in 86 and went to University of Houston, April 2nd of 86. Coach Foster went April 1st. And then I came back here like April 9th of 2021, 35 years later.
Okay.
And the building still looks great, except for it's the same floor that we had in 84.
Okay.
And now it's an era of player development and facilities and those kind of things. And so that was my big thing when I walked in, was talking about, okay, the building still looks great. The arena still looks good. But we need some things for player development. So, okay, what does that mean? What does it look like? Okay, like since I've been here, we needed to put you in a player lounge.
Okay.
Don't sound like a big deal, but instead of your guys congregating in the locker room all the time, where they can do that, if they want to take a nap, want to take it easy, want to after shooting, want to just go hang out and congregate, where can they do that besides the locker room? Well, a player lounge. Okay. Most programs, they have a player lounge. So we created and built a player lounge. One of the building rooms we turned into a player lounge. After that, it was nutrition.
Okay.
We trying to create some things, bought a refrigerator and got nutrition, improved that. And so now that's a big part of our program. Got our own strength coach. And then we talked about at the time maybe improving the atmosphere in the Montaigne Center. Well, here comes Jeff O'Malley, our director of athletics, who's been a college basketball official for 30 plus years. He's actually the secretary of all the college basketball officials currently right now. So, he walks onto the floor. As soon as he steps on the floor, he touched the floor. He said, "Wow, this floor is really hard." Man,
Yeah.
how many leg injuries do you guys have? I said, "Well, actually, quite a few, and our women had a few." So then immediately he and Dr. Taylor, they went out and secured the funding and got Nature's Credit Union here locally to fund it. So now the Montaigne Center is no longer just the Montaigne Center. It is now going to be Nature's Arena at the Montaigne Center.
All right.
So Nature's Credit Union gave us a significant gift. I know it was more than $3 million, which included the court, the new wood court, video boards, the scoreboards, the lighting, sound system, which you couldn't really hear very good before, all of that. And so it's much brighter. I mean, it looks like a great place. The part of that money also went to our football program stadium, getting a new scoreboard and video board there in the football stadium. So,
all right.
And it's being completed. That looks nice. The last piece, one of the other pieces that we're doing is we had a generous couple who don't like to be recognized publicly, but they actually donated money to build us a new weight room just in the Montaigne Center, just for basketball. And so that is in the works as we speak. And so all those development things are taking place. And that's what Major League Basketball is, for big time basketball looks like. It's things to take care of and develop, your student athletes. And so academically, we've gotten better there. We've got some more support there. And so, for example, went from, I think my first year we were at a 2.1 GPA, and this past year we had a 3.2. And
excellent.
So, we'll have some guys graduate this spring. We'll have 2 graduate in the spring. And so, and we only have 2 seniors, and everybody else be back. And so now we've got a good foundation now. So I was here, remember this place when, man, we just didn't lose much.
Right.
And the excitement was generated with the energy that the team brought to the arena every day. And there's no other NBA. There are no NBA teams in Beaumont, clearly.
Right.
No minor league teams in basketball. There's no minor league baseball teams. There's no professional sports here. There's not enough. The closest university is in Lake Charles or in Houston. So, all the major networks are right here. So there's a good spot for us to kind of get it going and get the energy going back to where it was. And so I think this group we have will do a good job to getting us back on that path and kind of getting us started. So, yeah, that was a long answer. Did we talk about that before? Yeah, we talked about that a lot. We actually talked about too staff. Like before I came, we only had a director of basketball operations in addition to the 3 full-time assistants, and I thought we needed to increase the staff. So we've kind of, as the university, been good at that. We now have video coordinator full-time and operations. We got GAs and the whole nine. So we've got the things, and those positions are important again, just to help develop your players.
Sure.
Give them the support and attention that they need. And
Coach,
so
I'm impressed. I'm impressed because there was a time that Lamar basketball was no longer highly thought of.
Good. Yeah, in '81, my senior year, we came to Hawthorne, and of course Clyde was there. Mike Dreamer was actually sitting on the bench as a redshirt guy, and Rob Williams was the best player on the team, and they were top 25. We actually were too, and so Hawthorne was packed for the game. And so had I done anything at all, we win the game. Anxiety got the best of me. But the thing is, the energy was great. And so the program was really at a high. The year before, we played A&M in the Great Alaska Shootout, beat them. We went to the Sweet 16 that year, went to the tournament in my senior year. And then after, when I stopped playing and I started coaching, we went back in the tournament, 83, and NIT 84. So we were doing well. And so I don't mind telling you, it's not a negative. It's just kind of where we are. And we left in 86, Coach Foster and I in 86, April 86. And over this time, since 86, we've had 3 20-win seasons. That's it.
Right.
9 coaches. And so it's been a long stretch of trying to figure it out. And so I think we have in fact, I know we have the right administrative support now. We've got a really good staff. We've got a really good group of young men. I've been a part of rebuilds at Houston and UTEP and A&M and North Texas and Texas Tech, all throughout those years. And so I know what rebuilding looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I know how difficult it is. And so it's kind of, it's one of those godly things where you can go from your hometown school, University of Houston, and I spent 23 years there, 2 stints, and then come back to your home school at Lamar. I mean, you can't even make that up. I mean, so stories being built, still being written, and I'm kind of excited and looking forward to continuing it, man.
Comment from Miss Wanda Polk about everything sounds good. Congrats on the improvements.
Thank you.
It's great. And as you know, and we've known each other a long time, one thing Coach Kelvin Sampson has said to anyone who will listen, a successful program starts from the administration.
It starts with administration. You know, he says it all the time. Coaches win games, administration wins championships.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, says all the time. And I kind of repeated that line when I got here. You know, there's been 9 coaches over 30-some years. The building was great in 84. It was relevant then. The building looks great now, but now we need some other resources, some things for player development, because it's all about taking care of our guys.
Right.
You know, I mean, as a player, I was looking for someone to help, you know, inspire us, take care of us, and, you know, would have our best interests at heart. Didn't mean they had to give us everything, but just things we needed. Mm-hmm. So now we're in a position as leaders where we have to do the same thing for our young men and women here at Lamar. And so I think that our administration is stepping up and doing that. So we now have to do our part. You know, we've got improved in those things. Now we're going to need to improve in the win column. And generate some excitement and play. We need to play faster, and we will play faster, play a little bit exciting brand of ball, and play as hard as we possibly can, you know, so that people will be excited about watching us play and look forward to coming and see us.
Who's your tallest player? Who are some of the guys to watch this season for fans?
My tallest guy is Janko Bulic. And he is from Montenegro.
All right.
I have 2 from Montenegro, actually. And Janko he broke his foot last year. He got here in January, played like 4 or 5 games, broke his foot, and he'll start for us at the 5. He's 6'11", and 6'11", 6'11 and a half. But good athlete. Played on the 20 and under national team in Montenegro. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he'll help us. Good player. We have Chris Pryor, who's a little point guard. He's a senior. He's one of our true seniors. He's coming back. He's from DeSoto in Dallas, but he played in McLennan County Junior College, and so he'll be back. He'll be a good player for us. Guys from the area, Brian Gordon is from Shadow Creek. Brian be a redshirt sophomore. And then Terry Anderson, who's from Deer Park. And Terry played at Costa Junior College, Arkansas, but he's from Deer Park.
Okay.
And Terry, believe it or not, came to our camp at the University of Houston years ago. And I don't really remember him, to be totally honest with you. Mikhail McLean, who I brought over here with me from Houston, remembered Terry. And then Terry was 6'3" in high school. And Terry's 6'7" now.
Okay.
And so good athlete, plays hard, gives us a lot of good energy. Played hurt most of last year, so Terry will be good. He'll help us. We got a kid named Jakevian Buckley that was played for us last year, started some games. He's from Shelbyville, Texas, won a state championship there as a junior in high school. Went back to state the COVID year when they didn't allow the state teams to play in San Antonio. Then went to Trinity Valley from there. went to help them get to the national tournament. He's about 6'2" guard. He's returning, and he'll help us a lot, along with Chris and Brian. And then we've got like I mentioned, Terry, Brian, and then we've got Dakota Pennebaker, who started a number of games for us last year. He's one of those guys mentioned, like 6'5" guard. He's out of Minneapolis. They won a state championship in Minnesota 2 years ago.
All right.
Played for a guy, end up all the way here from Minnesota because the guy that coached him, James Ware, I coached at Texas Tech. So we kind of had an end there in the relationship.
Sure.
So we're looking for a 6'5" guard. So Cody would do a good job for us. We end up getting out to transfer portal BB Knight, who's from KD Tompkins, and played at Tulsa last year. BB 6'6" guard, plays 2-3, and can really shoot it. Good player. I think set some 3-point shooting records there at KD Tompkins, and did a really good job there. Started the last 12 or 13 games at Tulsa, so we're looking for some big things out of him. We've got Adam Hamilton, who was a junior college All-American out of Arizona. And he's from played junior Glendale Community College in Arizona, but then he was hurt most of last year. Probably played 6 or 7 games and had some knee issues, and then ended up with 2 concussions within 4 weeks, and so he was ruled out for the year. But Adam's 6'9" and good player, skilled, played really well at TCU. He was one of the reasons we were in the game last year at TCU. Played well there, so he'll help us quite a bit. We got a couple more guys out of portal. Earl White, that was from Eastern New Mexico, really good rebounder. He comes from Queens, New York originally. And Jay Sean Jackson, who was at Abilene Christian, about 6'2" guard, and really good player, good athlete. So we got a number of good pieces. We got Valentine Cat, who's back, and he's actually the returner other than Brian, and that were here with us when we first started. And Val will graduate this spring, but Val's about 6'9", 6'10", good athlete. He had knee surgery as well last year. Only played like 2 games. So we've got some good pieces that we've got a chance to build on and work with. And I like the group we have. I really like the group we have. So we got good speed and quickness, got good size, cross the front line. Cross the front line will Alexa Lekic is a freshman from Montenegro. He just got here. And so Yanko's 6'11", Lexus 6'10", Val 6'9". So is Adam Hamilton about 6'9". And then you got Terry 6'7", Earl 6'7", BB and Cody both 6'5". And so we've got good size. We got a number of good guys. Yep.
With the facility improvements, have you noticed a change in reaction from Beaumont area high school players in terms of recruiting and want to come to Lamar?
Well, you know what? To be totally honest with you, they don't know yet.
Okay.
We've just talked about it, and it's like the new scoreboards and video boards are just being like they're putting it in right now as we speak. And then the new lighting system just got put in a few weeks ago. The new court showed up probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so nobody has actually seen it other than what we put on social media. The new scoreboards, no one has seen yet because they just put them in.
All right.
Until you come into the arena, you really not going to notice. Now, once everything is done and then, you see it on the news, on video, you're just like, wow, it's a lot brighter. Different court looks nice, and they'll see it. As we've had recruits come here unofficially, we've kind of taken them around the Montaigne Center, which is now called Nature's Arena at Montaigne, and showed them kind of where the new weight room is going to be. I didn't mention that. I forgot to fail to mention we've had so much going on. We had a gentleman last year, a Lamar alum, that built us a film room,
Okay.
which is for basketball, and that's kind of our classroom. We film practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we kind of go in and we start our day right before practice in the film room. It's where we do our scouting reports and what have you. And it's a really nice film room. It's the nicest you'll see.
All right.
So it's really good. And I kind of had the idea from when I was at Houston at the Guy V. Lewis Development Center. Like we had a nice film room there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was much different from Mikhail and I were looking at the old film room from Hoffines way back. I think Mikhail was playing. So Eric Thomas, who's now the great inspirational speaker, this before he blew up, he came there and spoke to the team. We had a picture of it, and it was just a room with I think 3 rows of seats, and it wasn't much. And then the film room now, and I know they're upgrading it now. When I went over there to see Coach Sampson this summer, it's upgrading it even better now. But the film room we now have, I think, is really good, and so I can see the difference in energy in our guys. You mentioned about have the locals. No, they haven't seen it yet, but they will. And but our team, our guys, man, I have noticed a significant difference, in their energy and their approach. Because it's just like when you get your new house, or you get your new car, or you got your nice bicycle that you got rid of the old one, and man, you got your new shiny 10-speed, and you had the old one that the brakes didn't work, and all of a sudden, boom, you got your nice one, and you got excited about it. You're proud of it. You want to take care of it, and you want to do well because you feel good about it. And so I have noticed an increase in energy, and this group we have is just good too. They accustomed to working hard and winning. So what we have to do now is take all of these things that we have been blessed to have and that we've asked to be invested in our program, and that's going to benefit us and our women's program well. And so now we have to put a team on the floor and play with a level of commitment and toughness and energy that's all about us winning,
Right.
And so that's kind of where we are. And so man, November 6th, we need to kind of tip it up, and we put together a challenging non-conference schedule, I think, which will help us compete for the Southland Conference title, and somebody say, man, is it a stretch? You think you can compete for it? I mean, I don't know why not. I mean, until we can be like everybody else. I mean, we got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of good teams in our league. But we were last year needed 1 or 2 more wins down the stretch to finish in 6th place from 10th. And, we lost 7 games by 5 points or less. And that was with all the stuff we had going on. And so I did like where our energy was. I liked how resilient we were to all the things that occurred. And the guys that came back were totally committed and bought into being here. And in this day and age, in the transfer portal, that says an awful lot.
Sure does.
I mean, that guys that want to be at your school and want to play for you, that speaks volumes. And so that's why I really like this group, and so, we're just going to keep working at it, man. Going to keep working at it until we can't get it wrong,
Yep. With the video board and lighting, is everything on schedule to be ready for the exhibition game?
Oh yeah. We'll be ready. We'll be ready. We played our first exhibition game November 1st, and we will be ready. So let me see if something I want to show you, Chris. I'll get it.
All right. This is excellent. Alvin Brooks at Lamar, he got upgrades over there. Got facility upgrades and administration. You get support from the administration. that's what you need to be successful, a successful team, successful program, to build
Yeah.
that and maintain it. So that's excellent.
Yeah. No, I thought I had with me, maybe next time. I thought I had some I want you just photo I want to show you. But anyway, but yeah, we man, I really appreciate you letting us share what we have going on here. It's been really good, and it's been a lot of fun, man. I mean, it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I've been blessed to be a part of, when we were able to rebuild the Houston,
Sure.
and and then when I was at A&M with Billy Gillespie, we were over there, and they hadn't won in the Big 12 before we got there. I think it was 87 was the last time they won, and we got there in 2004, and we're able to get that going. North Texas, Johnny Jones is now at Texas Southern.
Right.
Get him in North Texas, and inherited a 3-win program, when we got there, and kind of way we get that going. And same thing at Texas El Paso. So it's not the first time, so it was not unusual and so like some people that, as I've told some around here that never seen it before, sometimes if some that don't know better, they think it's just the same old thing.
Right.
Man, here we go again. It's a difference between a rebuild and here we go again.
Right.
Its foundation has to be laid. You got to start from somewhere before you start rounding the bases.
Right.
And then when you start getting the first, and then get the second, and then you get a lead off second, and then man, you coming home, and then you can kind of make it happen. You can get some things going. So I think that's kind of where we are right now. I think we got the right guys here to do that. And we got guys have good energy. So one young man I did mention, and that's he's a freshman, Jaden Bars from Maynard High School, but he's recovering from ACL, and I'm not sure yet that he's going to be able to be a part of playing this year. He's still recovering. So, but good young man for us, but he kind of rounds out everybody, but everybody else will be back. So I think you'll like our group once you see them.
Excellent.
I think we have the kind of team that will we'll just continue to get better throughout the course of the year. Because it's a few guys that first time, this group first time being together, and we got a few guys. We got some experience now, but we got a few other guys. It's just their first time actually doing it at this level. So they'll just continue to get better and better, and I think we'll kind of be hitting our stride when we need to.
That sounds great, Coach. You tell Mikkel I said hi.
I'll do it.
I saw him, I think, same day both of y'all were at Batita Center.
Yeah.
And spoke to him, and he's a dad. What is he dad now? 3 times over now, right? 3 kids?
3 times over. Yeah, he ain't waste any time.
But I'm old. I'm proud for your success and things turning around and happening for you, Lamar. And I saw Mikhail play at UH, and now he's a dad, and I feel good to keep doing what I'm doing, and the people I've known for all these years.
You've been doing it a while, Chris. Man, I was trying to think. I think I met you through Ralph Cooper, I believe.
Probably, yes, sir.
And man, that was a while back. KCOH days.
Yes, sir.
When he was there, and maybe I don't know, we would maybe kind of just hanging out doing some other things, talking about football or baseball or something like that.
Yeah, because you used to be part of the Sam Andrews Football League, right?
Yeah, Sam Andrews. I was at Texas Southern, so been around a while, and so time flies. As I was telling Mikhail is now, as you mentioned, a dad 3 times, and he finished high school Second Baptist 2010.
Yep.
And so that's when I came back to U of H, for the second stint. And he and Jonathan Simmons that played in the league for a little bit. Those 2 were the first 2 guys I was there to help recruit back to Houston, University of Houston at that time. Right. And then, that was with Coach Dickey. And then after Coach Sampson came, Mikhail played 1 more year and then started working on the staff and worked his way through and becoming a really good coach. And so now here we are a number of years later. And, man, he's a young man and doing his thing and doing pretty good. So I'm excited for him. Looking forward to this year. It's going to be a good year. Just around college basketball, period. You know, my son is at Baylor.
Right.
And I know the Big 12 has changed. Coach Sampson and Kellen, those guys, Aquinas, Hollis, KC, those guys were I was at Houston with. Now they're in the Big 12. It's just a lot of changes in the college basketball landscape. You know, I'm curious to see how there are more teams that went to the portal based on NIL than before, and how that's going to play out. I mean, that's just a lot of things that are happening that I'm kind of looking forward to see how it all plays out, you know.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to see, you know, watch us continue to develop here.
Alvin Brooks, Coach, it's really, I'm glad you were able to join me today. And
man, I thank you for having me, man. I'm glad we had a chance to spend this time together. Enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. And I learned a lot, and I'm very glad to hear about the improvements at Lamar.
Right.
So
we needed
foundation being laid. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed it. So we're gonna keep getting better, man. I mean, it's refreshing. Jeff O'Malley, our new director of athletics, and I say he's been over here a year, and then Dr. Taylor, Hamid Taylor, was our president, been here over a year. But it's refreshing because, you know, when I first got here, April of 21, well, I knew the president, Dr. Evans, was on his way out. He'd already said that before when I was interviewing, right? So I knew it was going to be a new president, just knew who it was going to be. But then when the AD left, Marco Bourne, and then Jeff came, I was thinking, man, I'm wondering, is this going to be the same? Because my time in Houston, I was 33. That was back in 93 as the head coach there. And so during my 5-year stretch, I had 3 ADs.
I remember.
3 presidents, coached in 2 different leagues. So now here I've already coached in 2 different leagues. And then when the next president came and the next AD, I thought, man, not again. Yeah. And then talking to those guys, man, they remind me of the president I had at Houston. Like the second one was Dr. Gerke, who was awesome. I mean, I wish she had stayed, you know. And so our new president, I hear, kind of reminds me of Dr. Gerke. Glenn Gerke was his name. And so all about student athletes and students and the university and supporting. And so that's kind of what we have now. And so it's been a great blessing to have them come on board and just really be all about trying to make things better. Well, they've got a great administrative team. And it's I couldn't be more pleased with where we are right now in terms of our administrative support. You know, you always want to get better and want to get more. And that was the one thing I know you just mentioned earlier, Coach Sampson, we talked about before I left was like, man, what's the administrative support like?
Right.
Are they bought in? Are they going to help you try to win? You know, and sometimes some people don't know what winning looks like. You know, they think they don't think it have anything to do with it, and it's more to it than just we put product on the floor and the guys have to play hard. We have to do our good job coaching, but behind the scenes, that has a lot goes on into giving you a chance to succeed. And so I think we have that now. So it's going to be fun.
Excellent, Coach Brooks. We'll keep in touch, and you always have a invitation to be on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover on Thursdays, and there is a chance, hopefully at some point, maybe by the time conference play starts, I'll get another day of the week, so it might be Tuesday and Thursday. Who knows? Put that there in the universe. Let's keep in touch. Let me know.
So we'll keep in touch, and look forward to talking to you again once we get started and kind of talking a little bit about. I know there'll be a lot to talk about: college basketball, NBA, everything will be in full play. So looking forward to it.
All right, Coach. You take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Okay. All right.
Bye-bye. Kudos to Alvin Brooks. Now I'm going to contrast Coach Brooks' time on today's Roundball Review Takeover with opening remarks from Miss Wanda Polk, favorite head football coach, Dana Holgorsen. This is from Monday's press conference.
Conclusions.
Yeah, can't wait to practice today. See what it looks like out there. You know, we've been coaching these guys for about 8 months. Okay, so there's a lot more. There's a lot more material out there than just what happened on Saturday night. Okay, so our job is to assess the situation and clearly who's getting the playing time is at the top of that list. There's no doubt. We'll practice this week. I'm going to challenge our backups to improve. I mean, if we had backups right now that were performing at a very high level, it would make those decisions much easier. So it's not just what happened in the second half, okay? The second half was bad, but there's a lot more information throughout the course of the last eight months that has those guys in those positions for a specific reason. So if we were playing today, it'd be the same starting 11. With that said, we're not playing today. We get a practice today and practice all week to where I'm going to challenge those second team guys who want to get more reps. I'm challenge them to practice better, okay, and challenge them to try to get themselves in position where they'll play more. I give you an example. I mean, Josh Cobbs and Boogie. I mean, those guys are backup receivers that have not done enough to challenge for more playing time. I'm going to challenge them today to play to practice better to where they get more playing time.
Next question.
So Dana, it sounds like just
It was working.
You're okay. Go ahead.
So it sounds like you would like, in a perfect world, to be able to, if you could make some changes, but how do you bridge that gap between having guys ready to take that next step versus it's just not there right now?
Yeah, I mean, our depth isn't what it needs to be right now to compete at that level, and at that level means TCU is a really good football team. Okay, they're 15-3 over the course of the last 2 years. They got a lot of depth. I mean, they're rolling those D linemen in there 3 deep. So we're not quite there yet. And we need to continue to develop and continue to recruit and continue to get there as a program. If guys practice better and play better, they'll get more playing time. Parker Jenks is another example of that. I mean, he's doing well, right? So you saw him in there in the second half much more than he's been in there in the previous 2.5 games because he deserved that. So when guys get to that level and they deserve that, they'll get more playing time. And does that dethrone a starter? Well, that depends on what the second team looks like. I don't feel like, based on 8 months, we need to make any kind of changes based on what I've seen for eight months out of not only the starters, but for the backups as well.
So let me back up. Just want to compare and contrast the differences between Dana Holgorsen and Alvin Brooks. You heard first part of this show. Dana Holgorsen, he's still the head coach at Houston. I don't believe he's going anywhere, much to the UH fans and alums' chagrin and disappointment. Dana is who he is. He's not going to change. You can say it, he's going to toss players under the bus. He did that in opening comments of Monday's press conference, calling out backup players. He's the head coach. He recruited these players. He brought in the talent or the lack of depth. He brought them in. He did all those things. He's the one in charge. He needs to acknowledge that The line, Cougs play Sam Houston this Saturday evening, 6 o'clock, TDECU Stadium. Game will be on the Big 12 Now on ESPN+. The last I heard, according to one of my buddies, the spread is UH minus 12. It's down to 12. UH over Sam Houston. Started out at like 13 and a half. It's now down to 12. Oh, boy. Sam Houston's defense is very good. Offense is not. They scored 3 points in 2 games. 3 points in 2 games. Sam Houston's defense has allowed, I think, 27 points in 2 games. We'll see if the Cougs offense can get on track with their head coach, who is supposed to be an offensive genius, an offensive guru. Time will tell. We'll see how many fans show up Saturday at TDECU. Over under Corey last I saw was, I think, 38. Over under 38. That says a lot right there. That says over under 38. Cougs minus 12 against Sam Houston, a team that is moving from FCS to the FBS level. What else is there to say? Gonna wrap it up. This edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. Rocket fans, join me Friday evening, September 22nd. Excuse me. For the next edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. Going to dive a little bit more into the comments that Tillman Fertitta said way back in April about KPJ. He said those words about KPJ. But folks talking sports this Sunday with me and Willie Gibson. Thank you very much. A couple things. Initially, the conference schedule for men's and women's basketball for the American was going to be announced today. It's now been pushed back to Friday, September 22nd. Big 12 basketball schedule will be announced September 26th. The Cougs men's hoops first fall practice is September 27th. And the Rockets media day will be Monday, October 2nd. So college and pro hoops is around the corner. Looking forward to it. Content will be here, of course, on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, as well as on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E on Facebook, Twitch, X, and of course, Fire Stick TV as well, but also on Roku via the BS3 network. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to BS3network.com. Thank you to Corey, Alan, Miss Wanda, everybody for your comments via YouTube, Miss Donna as well. See you next week here next Thursday on the Roundball Review Takeover. Have 2 guests lined up already for next Thursday. So thank them. But Friday, tomorrow, I have a guest, an interview that I'm going to record, hopefully, with a local area coach and post that later on Friday afternoon. So look for that on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. So in conclusion, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.
My name is James Jeter, and I won $500 on the lunch money from the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, we made it. It's Friday, November 22nd, 2023. Number 1. The U.S. Senate confirmed Air Force General Charles Q. Brown Jr. as the second African-American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This was the first military confirmation in months after being held up by Senator Tommy Tuberville due to his objection to the Department of Defense policy on abortion. This policy allowed service members to receive compensation to travel in order to receive abortion services if stationed in a state where abortion is banned. Number 2, President Joe Biden is creating the first ever federal Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The office will coordinate efforts across the federal government and offer help and guidance to states struggling with increasing gun violence while taking the lead on implementing the bipartisan gun legislation signed into law last year. As of Monday, there have been at least 35 mass killings in the U.S. thus far in 2023, leaving at least 171 people dead. Number 3, menopause is a universally shared experience among women, signifying the end of the reproductive phase of life. While each woman's experience is unique, race plays a profound role in shaping this transition. Research indicates that nearly half of Black women encounter severe physical symptoms, such as debilitating hot flashes and persistent joint pain, compared to just 20% of white women. Number 4, 57-year-old Olivia Hill is a Nashville native and military veteran. She recently made history in her election to the city council, making her Tennessee's first openly transgender member. Hill is an engineer and advocate for women's and LGBTQ+ rights. Women now make up the majority of Nashville's Metro Council, and statewide, Tennessee has been carving away LGBTQ+ rights and reproductive rights. Number 5, Black farmers have lost 90% of their land in the past century, equating to $326 billion in lost value. The Black Farmers Fund has raised $11 million to help Black farmers keep their land and pass it on to future generations. Congratulations to Olivia Watkins and Karen Washington, co-founders of the fund, as the recipients of the 2023 James Beard Humanitarian of the Year and Lifetime Achievement Award. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Choose to make peace your mission. Right. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Barbara Scotia College and HBCU in Concord, North Carolina needs our help. The What You Need to Know team is asking supporters and alumni and friends of Barbara Scotia to help them meet their immediate and pressing needs by donating to help Barbara Scotia rise. Please join the thousands of donors from around the world who are stepping up to save one of the nation's oldest HBCUs. Visit SibylWilkes.com for more information. If you're living with pain and discomfort in your feet, legs, thighs, or buttocks, that may be a sign of a serious health problem. Peripheral artery disease, also known as PAD, is a disease of the blood vessels outside the heart. It causes reduced blood flow to the area of the body with the diseased blood vessels. Diabetes, smoking, and high blood pressure are strong risk factors. Each year, approximately 150,000 amputations are performed in the United States, and most cases occur in people with diabetes and PAD. Talk to your doctor on how to manage your PAD, reduce your risk for heart disease and stroke, and prevent the loss of a limb. Learn more at heart.org/PAD. And check out a celebration of Black filmmakers rooted in the HBCU culture. That's November 10th through the 12th at Howard University's Blackburn Center. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.